Mane fa na se ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de o se dem yopo.
Ashrafonia TV me mobi biara kwaba eba PENDREAM TV. Ebache innocent any citizen go feel to the same bench to Mankasafa. Chief Justice ye petition say ye no every home. Na ECG containers ayeran so almost sign a casafa and some who do be kawe hona. Citizen go feel to any ebache innocent idea to ja. My person become a honety among some no enchirimu. Subscribe to the channel no. Don't comment section. Like and I share my dear ma afofro esa and carry. Come honety among some no enchirimu.
Ivan. Maybe I will call. Did you say, and you may call you? And come on, Ivan, Chief Justice. And I have petition ye mammy and free woman peninsula to an among area comma the Council of State say almost so almost from against the one and fambra. And that's sorry, Chief Justice said there be on Tias yet. Petition no a e de akodan Council of State no onya copy anka ope na wahwemu ebie akwakọ ye nsem a Ghana fa bisa se obi asem fore wo ho de e de nti no pese ohu asem no se ne emu nsem esetie is she right say I was demanding for the copies and I say for the petition no I petition against her and also said the container ne so aira ECG for container no and na ye hu bi yasan so ehu se container ne bi wo ho a omayi munyama aton emo cables ne bi akoma scrap dealers Chinese company bi a oma boni din se ono no total scrap nyina so and also e nkomo a wo ho and ye love ya scrap e the free wo nyina ye nkomo a wo ho entie preliminary comment na ye nto aso enko.
Yeah, the other time I mentioned what's here for.
Be a just so.
Now, menka say, culture says democracy be a ya. The foundational institution a whom here power back on the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. And the whom here are Ghana for in a hot swarm war a womb in your free man endanger the prospect of our democracy and the judiciary. But I follow media discussion, various discussions and polls around your judiciary for quite some time now. With the politics, with the Adibiato in China, you come to appreciate it. Say indeed, public confidence in the institution, you know, a conform to a point at Ghana for GDA and now to swear some war. Our judiciary in Nihobium, all because of some decisions and some appointments, some decision by some of these appointees at the Supreme Court, no, ama. Nipa in GDA wom, and there are a lot of online posts, a lot of surveys that have been conducted about the judiciary. I give credence to these. Your friends in summer year can you be in a body team and a worker. Until you will be aware so much and teased about a democracy, you'll be worried. Because this is one of the foundational institutions of democracy in Ghana. So if we are losing the judiciary, you know that we are heading to an arena of chaos and pandemonium if nothing is done about it. And the Myanmar Supreme Court aye in recent times ama the most revered your friends arm of the judiciary, the Supreme Court no again some notoriety for being a partisan arm of power under Akufo-Addo, and people were using it to do a whole lot of stuff. So we have panel na air course under President Akufo-Addo na ebi amanfo nhase enhyeda entenase nyeye. Judges now no more a panel for cases, you know. They were running through the same people when the same personalities, the same people, and they were giving the same ruling and the same judgment all over. And then the cover unanimous 11, unanimous 5, and that's for by that became a subject, the judiciary, you know, and the Supreme Court, you know, a subject of your friends are public ridicule, public mortification in all discussion on social media now for and corruption cases and allegations that your level against even some individuals in there. The whole Chief Justice was a subject of your friends say one of these allegations that lawyer Bibi Meki at the end of the day, you know, I think that lawyer was suspended a whole lot of issues ever in court. Sanyama we now build it up to that particular perception. And then the mother of all things, you know, the appointment, the brazen manner with which the president was appointing people left, right, center to the Supreme Court bench. Obajia say ye drew a point here obi a yenim say or your party we ni oko contest ye ewo ye fan saying Ho East on the ticket of the MPP elusu ye saa nipa no ya promoting her to the stance as such a sensitive bench ne kotena so indication is all qualified but you see my culture say there are moral argument and common sense argument that you need to make. You look at the institution in question and how revered and a partisan is supposed to be. There are some individuals who push on mukwa. I know the no matter the kind of rule or whatever, it will still create doubt on the minds of people, and that impression will sully the reputation of the judiciary. And those nema way, you know, causing a bedroom point, Ghana for about, I must say they are seeking to reset institutions. And in resetting this institution, it's not just any institution. The most foundational institution can be. Don't forget that this reset started from Parliament too. Is the reason why you saw that massive numbers this time around. Because most of the majority people are more the MPPs that were voted against. So when people are talking about this reset, they don't talk about say the reset no already taking place our Parliament that are taking place our the executive that is the reason why Bawumia lost the way he lost. Then the only armor here that ruling at this time is the judiciary. And it's not as if the President Mahama Dosari or Simi Koyi judge free ho. Only that 92.3 a petition that has to be submitted by a Ghanaian. Ghanaian or ha or yet dissatisfied with Niema the Supreme Court and I say Chief Justice and so Article 146 so be when and Kabeme that will copy or hand can go through how what has to be done in that particular way and that will be at the petition Aquacoma President forwarded to your friend is saying Council of State now or more establishing what I say there are merits and I say that particular petition have some credence be able to be forwarded to a panel for subsequent procedure say because of Minya Niamana air question generate whole lot of debate in the first place. Matisse says Tafo MP at the court say or stop the process because of free say president at Chief Justice 9 so be your friends saying what ne fa hodie so because onyama na kwenya ema yentie no and sometimes what in China will follow some of these things and this guy in question is a parliamentarian. Now this is the way he thinks and you could see clearly that it is either he's motivated by malice or the partisan lines na yendim no and I say he's not even thinking right and I say he's just ignorant about this whole process because nyansa bia nimsa at this point anybody will push the president to court to stop him because onyamo Chief Justice amane so we have provisions na ewo ho na oko article 146 na down was no nyina e kire hawa so person we Chief Justice free ho and I say any member of the Supreme Court bench no free ho and I say or talk about regional tribunal chairman and as for no so person you mo free ho there are clear outline our constitution na nkasa edia to quite clearly how that particular process must be your friends applied. So at any point in time, so what Tanasina say president avia offer, you have every right, citizen, to complain. Yeah. But at this point, the question I say any reasonable logical mind be beside who say at this point, president afomemra. Now say Chief Justice who demand now all demanded for petition copy, no, is it right or is it wrong? That is the question we are going to answer this time. The whole thing is that Constitution say president receive petitioner was set up that particular petition. Now other your friends say Council of State no more establish a premium facie in the face of we know whether it is credible to be your friends say but what team people are not considering is say particular we need a constitutional injunction on both the president and on your friends the Council of State. So petition be the president why he's just a conveying belts. Said there yes and fellas in one of the press way the president duty is to push that particular petition to the Council of State and establishing whether there is merit or not that process is not an adversarial process. That is what people should understand. Adversarial nature say I don't know a bit more quite and I say that particular process is never adversarial. It's a procedural who say petition appropriate and I say appropriate on the face of things that has been presented. So at that point you don't need the input of Chief Justice because they are not going to go into the case, the merit of it, to determine whether it is relevant or not. Sometimes you can even just look at a petition on the face of it and determine, say, even the petition is not competent. So there was a time I think say a bit by yes, omo sign a binim sign a. So some of these technical destiny can even render the petition incompetent to be forwarded to the next stage. But this time, no, the president, as a conveyor belt, has a constitutional injunction on him to push this thing to Council of State to determine, to establish that prima facie, your friend say, in the face of what has been presented. May say that particular process is not adversarial process. Either warranty the Chief Justice to say so for a whole Chief Justice who understand this whole thing to come and say, yeah man, a copy at this time, no, it is wrong. And again, so what kind of constitution now called Article 140 says clause 10 now. I don't know if you have a copy, you can read it. Actually quite clearly say president forward petition no that's a Council of State it may establish say indeed they need to proceed there. From that point going, it becomes an adversarial process. And at that point the Chief Justice must be heard. Okay. I hope you understand. So at that point, committee no better say more recommendation and a president better so act as to whether so obepam maame na answer maame better. So at that point, as the principles of natural justice dictate, the person must be given the right to be heard. What has happened? So at that point, a committee has been set up. Comprises of a high court, Supreme Court judge, and other people. Your friends say you appoint your more lawyers and so composition, no kind of constitution or no, a kind of clear. When that particular panel or committee is set up, at that point you cannot say oh my Chief Justice, your friends say a copy to know because she must appear before the committee either in person or by her lawyer, and at that point she must be heard. And the crime banner over fast why it's because why not petition I kind. I hope you get a point. This is when your petition are kind. So this whole process, include Chief Justice having access to the petition, but not just point, because points do and it's not an adversarial process. You ever finding any adverse finding against the Chief Justice is to either to know say there are merit, we can give credence to the petition, and that we can start the process. And this is what kind of constitutional article 148 downwards now. Even with the president or started from forwarding it to the Council of State. That is where it starts from. After dealing with your friends, a member of the Supreme Court or the tribunal chairman, or started with sending the petition to Council of State to establish the prima facie whether it is relevant. So from that point, and say, that's sorry. That Council of State back actually and say, Nema petition any pakra by. On the face of it, we think the petition is competent and it can proceed to the next stage. At that point, the president will have no other option than to give the woman copies to read. At this point, even the Council of State can say, oh, on the face of it, your friends are not competent enough to proceed. So, what they copy command and I day, and who here at this point? And I don't know why some people on the other side, MPP, are taking this whole issue as if say something has happened. And I don't know why the Chief Justice herself is panicking. Because at the end of the year, signs of panic, or she's panicking.
Say, well, demanded for the petition.
Yes, at this time, she's just panicking. And baby or me, I'm not sure, say, or here, because as I'm American, she understands this thing is better than I do. So for her to come publicly, to send letters and ask for demanding, say, your man a copy, when she knows, say, this whole process can never terminate without her being given your friend is saying opportunity to read. And again, the committee in the Fred Chief Justice. Now you catch us say your 7 days for response, bra. But she can say, oh, the period is short, so give me 1 month. You have the right. Because at the end of the day, the input that you send to the committee, and as a summer babaka, and as a winning petition, you can request for more time. So there is no haste in this thing.
For her demanding.
Because I say there is no way this thing will terminate without Chief Justice having access to the petition. She knows. So it's just you see, she's doing these things just to court public sympathy. Because because after elections, they've lost relevance.
Yeah.
So they are just clutching at straws. So in some who be about no sorry they cockot. Gonyansa be him say what they cockot.
Mami na say Ivan Che innocent. I know so when we but then mami quickly mami will bear 5 minutes being counted. I can go for a short, quick commercial break.
Yeah, sure. There's a more the break at some time.
Yeah, I didn't know be na. Yes, I'm from Jaka.
Oh, Kofi. As a what kind of constitution now? Or be so clearly say on what grounds? And a bit may Chief Justice a flu or a threat. Either misbehavior, incompetence, or infirmity to both body and mind.
Yeah.
Yanam where you know who said Chief Justice. But there are two broad areas and they're very, very vague. Yeah. One share the interpretation your way. One has to do with misbehavior and the other one has to do with incompetence. But they are normally so you be free wait me use your incompetence. Because incompetence is like a sea. I'll come for fishing. When you be or have and there are a lot. One, make sure say at this point. Public trust in institutions and kasa winning considerably. That alone is enough testament to give justification to the fact that the person in charge is incompetent. And there are public posts out there. Again, so we heard some of the rulings are best in the past. Birth certificate issue. Now, I mean, she was part of the panel, even though she wasn't the Chief Justice then. And not a Honsem. And again, in recent times, most of the contentious issues are about abonting. There was a timer. Electoral Commission decided to embark on a particular registration at the district level. Yeah. NDC and 6 other political parties at the court. Such issues, you will expect in saying Kabeya shift response. Almost the Chief Justice said to Kwan day time date national bottom or my one TB. These are evidence. These are evidence of incompetence anywhere, because bench in your mama and your papa and who to Kwan out the data show bottom. What has Samra Mekana say? And when it comes to some of these adverse justify incompetence and as well, I can sit here and tell you that there are a number of them. The banter between the Supreme Court and then the judiciary. Some of the rulings about the banter between the Speaker of Parliament. In the end, this LGBT issue, the swift manner, yadikotie a final marking issue. Now this whole landmark case are for the Muslims. Now no issue now I said tafo MP in the court. Sansam I can sit and tell you but who's the fixed date for Tuesday? Someone who's the fixed date. Yeah. So it means the woman is acting where it favors her. And every now and then she's proving it. Exactly. Yes. I mean, one thing I don't like about her is that posture of arrogance, looking down on people, that kind of way. For me, she doesn't engender trust and confidence. Ghana for a pair from the judiciary. And against the backdrop said, majority of Ghanaians don't trust the institution called judiciary. There is the need for us to sanitize the institution. What I say? And at this point in time, maybe or no one tenancy who said the IAD because for her to scream when it's not time for her to scream, no. Clearly, choose Adibia Fanatum, Bakovi. At the chair Muslim for AD, your friend is saying, holiday no Musalano. Who's a Omupian and Pio Comayanka? Sign and Pino, you're down on my feet. Say you could do a malam when you want to call my Epic Christian Humanity. So then Piana, a salad do I end up Comayanka. We yet died then and Pio will never come home. And that is the situation I see. So Chief Justice, ya cannot my Yankano. On him say, Edana, oh, Muffy, and Wintina was a say, come no, because on him the wire. And within the judiciary itself, there is tension among people on the bench. Promotion. Quite recently, I know in a far cut out command and now Kufuano. Actually, on a number for the classmate, didn't say, or person or appoint to the bench. We are fee. And that thing was illegitimate, it was illegal because such consultation must be done with the judicial council. But opposition or throw that particular letter, it's a sign of income. It means that one can win him the auto on a way. Or be in favor no push you. So for me, that woman, as long as she's there, and the reason why she's fighting it, Sadia will go through her. It will become a danger on herself. She will be the first Chief Justice in the history of this country under the Fourth Republic, and she doesn't want that. But that is why you see some people on the other side that but
well,
for the Tafu MP and the MPP, what they are doing there, these are confused people who have lost the election. Instead of them to go and sit down and then see how meeting back, they're just clutching at these straws just to be relevant. I think they should be ignored. That nothing has happened. President Mahama at this point has not heard. 92.3. Sanka Wafuma Kofi Meno Metana message also. You know that. Yeah. So it's a process, So you set up a committee to translate the finding back. Nasa man ya man a choir. I don't know. It's in clear violation of her human rights, and we'll come here and talk about it. But we are not there yet, and there is no indications that president will not allow her to be heard. But at this point, I think she should stop screaming and call her dogs back home. Or more go straight to some more back for no because time in so yet. Some be back. Time no swan. You remember more pack. I'm more big so be back, and then everybody will hear them. But at this point, I'm not sure say they have any point.
But now say Ivan Che Innocent, a researcher, and what on the Chief Justice. The request Senka Wamo Manignac the copies of the petition Senebea on also to me I go through. I don't know share the matters arising on that very particular issue. My main core era Alan DeGraft and also a member of the NDC Operi. Share your take on the Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo.
Gofi Mkwenya mini Oshe be a minu Ivan a peking some leafy and in Chichima on my and clearly. I say the Chief Justice no open them, Nempoko open
a ponko pentema Kofiana
say, the ponko
yes, no come my uncle and I'm a
clearly no, Sir Unim procedure. Now, him say, these are the processes, I was say, we go through before say ubenya opportunity, say ubenya a copy or whatever petition that has been written against you, and definitely there's no way yede asem and I say yede asem ever asem e dia foul na ye ma ho kwan so benya copy. So how do you go to defend yourself? You will definitely be given opportunity.
Yes, so why are you in a rush?
Why are you crying for now? Because whatever the case is, at the end of the day, whoever filed the petition, and now said the other court, some watch or edit for honor, who are we accused, then you have an opportunity to go through whatever has been leveled against you, and then you have the opportunity to go to court and respond to them. And these are clear issues. I mean, for say, she's just in the haste. Oh, my know what SBT.
FM 92.3.
And as I character now SBT on one when she sit down, and that's all reflect here. On very clear. So it's a straightforward issue. Now, what the MPP has adopted in recent time is at any given time, there's an issue, they run to the public to call for public sympathy. So that at the end of the day, when the public kasa na kwa say wona wo ye de mra kwan so no wonipa na wo ye identity and won de bia wo mpɛ nasɛm enso enya sa nasɛm no te. And that is exactly the approach almost decided so because they have don't believe so much in the social media in the sense that any little thing they want to run to the social media and put it out there. Yeah. But believe you me, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is not an unfair person. He's somebody who believes in the rule of law, and every step on the way he has proven, he has shown. So you be a mra eyagana mrano idea already, and he is not vindictive. No matter what the situation is, that man is not vindictive. Look, I'll give you one of the clearest example. And I'm saying Blästs football yeah. Look at the telepathy, the kind of cordial relationship that he exhibited between Asamoah and Onuagasa. It's a clear indication that this is somebody who is not vindictive, no matter what has transpired.
Because Asamoah the MPP.
That is it.
I think Asamoah
you understand? And during his tenure of office, our Brazil, is that not it?
Yeah.
The Badana, a friend Asamoah
problem of crazy.
Yeah. Now, Mampini, as soon as you were the captain, at least if not for anything, you could have even saved the situation. That is why you were a leader. All these things, he exhibited them. All the subjected people to. But look at the president. And when he met him at the stadium, as if nothing has transpired at all. And look at the kind of telepathy or the kind of relationship that existed that everybody saw. So His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will not go and push people Like the way they went and pushed people against Alotosei.
Ahuto FM 92.3.
And the issue about the Chief Justice removal, it is something that has been on the table before going into the 2024 elections. Are you aware?
Yeah.
Because there are other renowned people.
Now, Ellen, this year now, what's that taken off?
Yeah, there are other Nkophobia. Omadisia Equini. Omo Amarone. Ebinso. Ewo Oma Wemu. At the point in time, Mr. Kwame Zukra Ekan Wansem. You understand, Professor Zu Ekan Wansem. And the
FM 92.3.
Nakwa is a reaction be a petition at the Tiana. Nakwa is will be new people and Professor Mokoko I didn't venture. No, the issue you say on one and number wotu. Nene ya why na how come say ubetimi atena say na wonim say adia etiamra answer wo ubetimi aklame aba ba ye Supreme Court Chief Justice no e wo de wo say ofam e wo stage say wo say ofam and having assumed that position no untimi entena say en kasa me wo classmate bi mu ntino entenu ntino san crofo no o tro en krata e de ama omampani a wetwemu kon say onhwe san crofo no on mama meka ho Supreme Court no sa na eye no but we e ya ade a uda na di and clearly no these are some of the lapses one kasa under your tenure of office I will name say a breach the principles of the very office that you own no you have gone ahead ayes anima we nyina and these are clear examples over there ye nyina ye what you say in situations where o hwe time e court where e very clear say I was say Jane electoral commissioner no I was oba box no na oba be yi no ho ano e fan sense bi what happened no didn't see it odias and so clearly no odum said the way the Chief Justice has carried herself say with afrache we penasem for the sake say penasem no that is not it because if not for anything we as a National Democratic Congress the leadership of the party no have shown good faith so ohwe Chief Justice Georgina Wood okay under His Excellency Professor John Evans Atamos she was appointed during the time of His Excellency J.A. Kufuor through the period of Professor John Evans Atamos no mami we etina office for good solid 4 years ama His Excellency Professor John Evans Atamos nyame eto nsa frɛ no na me fa ne krensi ama His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ebebe to aso nyina na mami da ho eden at the office despite me be a etwebuko a waye IC eya anamon bi a eko editor party no to the extent say I was here to me two anamon bi but at that time the NDC we were not vindictive to go after such personalities and so therefore if we do not do yanya entia wood as at that time now never I didn't say my men in the time we are not against the woman dear waye ensen fata undermine the principles of rule of law. Am the public interest our judicial system says that is where the issue are. Because says you cannot have a situation whereby who the wasem court. No one say assem na wo de court no. Politically no. Everyone saying it's politically motivated. And to once uni party or no now why would assem no court no crap no. Uni did assem na wo de ko be disun kunim. Is that how we want to stay in the country? Sane percent no more. No. That is what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama eba o share say look say me His Excellency John Dramani Mahama mo ma me ho kwan na se ba betina abemu a me make sure say obi a betime nya fair trial say na by the end of the day no so wo do wasem eko asem di bia die eye wo die wo mu no as se fata say wo di bi ana say wo di fa say bu asem no wi a at least no unim say masem na yede ana masem na yede enye de so you accept the judgment that comes out of it but in cases where answer na some that is a more reason why okay I say look MPP I am confident why to say be a case about because you wo unim say anama wetum signals all over HSA ketasise ne proye and na odu nsa akwakoshim na yoko aboka say yeju 200 million bail now we nya ho to me you had the court and the court
and a court so at the summer
and the court so at the summer number
80 million.
What are we talking about? And then when you look at the records and all the things that is established now, any Nyama Papa will procure now. The fact of the matter is say when the investigations have been done, what is the business? Papa ni erani, but it has gone to the court. So if such examples is what ye done, is that what Ghanaians want to go to? where cases will go to court when Ghanaians expect fair trial. Because what Ghanaians can say is massa. You need to pass said the film a year or not any bra film is as a result of a binary tesono. There was all your man one yam or money catastrophs prayer into a sick year ADC. Your best says Scãndal, His Excellency John Dramani Mama. I just says at the mind. Now say His Excellency John Dramani Mama, a big scanning in their mind. Ne. Yakako nya corporate bako. Eddie Abro. Near the Subo Abon Senebe ya, obetimi atino man na the SF fatasa wo so okumu na the Subo na ejiske bi senebe ontimi ko bebia do Scãndal or the Scãndal or court in Scãndal so me Scãndal. Is that how we want to go? And you talk on nobody hates a person. Obia in chin ni pedua. Na namuntu ne ye. Ene kwan omni o man we afaso. Ma GDF ni GDA. Ewo man ni mu aye judiciary. I like the me I banking. Look at the case between Bagbe against what transpired in Parliament and the position of the judiciary against Parliament. Meanwhile, we know that these bodies, they are all arms of government and they all have roles to play. And the cost of the delivery of justice, and so when sure say, and the mobile between Umbu. But what she did, I no supervise here, rude, Ebu, air Parliament in Alan. Oh, and why is animal when you know we are? Nene,
Mami Nase, we are mama joining live on Facebook. Ahunto FM official. Face so mama joining streaming. Your TikTok, Ahunto 923. Your YouTube, Ahunto TV, and I face so Twitter, and I say X, Ahunto 923 _FM. Mama Johnny our brochure and I say Mama wo agona ekwanta ma Johnny our voice 93.3 FM we a simple so into Takwan Suaye municipal or Enzima East or Takrade or Ahante West Mama Johnny we nyina so yedamase a face so or multi TV obenya yen ewo multi TV Ahunto our multi TV obenya yen our so away na watie ye na Ivan me nipsa mama get to Torkornoo asem no ye de be wo na ya hwe dubuahen ne ne yere de no a ene wo mo atinya kokoduru akokɔto ama ene wo mo se baila ye de ma mo no bail condition no 200 million no edoso dodo anti yante so ampania pa so mo da se me ko dan court no court ateso amomo ama ene skana be dru 80 million as baila ono betumi atua na omo ehia omo kakra na ewia na ya behwe ECG so for so ade no na mame na ke samfo asewia yi maka che se na so na eto no ano dire pa na wanya roofing sheet papa betumi aboa wo anase dumeko betumi abaw dan suma wo dan eso akoyia ahia obedu Torkornoo kwa bo se wada nso to mframa ehugo mu no na power chance no so nyina some roofing number 1 construction company wo maimwa one qualified carpenters all roofing installations into channel so mami metal roof trusses installation wood installation roof leakages and officer roof maintenance building construction you know be materials I would robot to say card MS Senadi lack and officer metal roof trusses you know on tombi on swear you funnel roofing home and commodity for bedine some na you'll be sorted in due time. Shana Sweet Medina and some Pom Arapa J Junction wa our Pentecost sorry down wa at a track quite well. We are in the 0541 908 637 0541 908 637 and also 0249 71 5908 0249 71 5908. Ivan, young co era a dubuahini. And then the any sue attorney general and Yoko over 200 bailout condition with the mama.
Yeah, I think that so Utie Nema Akoso under this particular Adubuahin and then the year issue highlight the stance and not corruption.
FM 92.3
in the Akufo-Addo administration. And it also affirms the fact that the Bianameka said, or mine and opinion in that.
Oh.
So anybody at all could just do anything and get away. And these are the evidence I give credence to those claims that I made at the time, say, or mine opinion be any. Because there is no civilized democratic institution that thrive on institutional credibility or the year Duma. Some of the near my course are branching with me, you know, other course without raising red flags for financial intelligence units or other criminal investigative bodies or clues that this is exactly what is going on. But I'm saying corruption became the order of the day. Obi a yebi, baby obi a wobiano or yebi. So it came to the point that even people who were not even smart, people who were not even knowledgeable, attempted to do it because another may catch a say crime everywhere is a very sophisticated and compressed enterprises. Nipa moyeno are very smart people. The last time I make about Okon Nepala, there were a group of doctors. Omono, they specialize in pseudo medicine. What they do buy see a free medical surgery amamo. Na yensu ya padu food na man for when about 3 years after we check kidney na ba kuni. This particular team was harvesting organs. Nepal, that particular is on the internet. You can read about it. Nepal, and they blew up. So I know that the Nepal no mokoye surgery ni bia 5 years after no ba na kidney 1 and the taraho. This is how sophisticated crime has become. By the time of more year, no, they were doing it on the grounds of humanitarian way, clouding their back. You didn't see. And criminals around the world are winning more. You ever say, Obi say, Mexico. Abrante your GD be friend air chapo. The most, your friend say, the smartest drug baron ever liver. I was asking we so. Operated for 15 good years. For 30 good years. He was able to operate for so many years. So you have kwanya abrante we fast wa oye chrome hana. Nyamana oye ni nyina, he was given traces, he was given your friend saying red flags and as a forum, but anam say institutions na any ready, you know, and I can even say he was even being aided by state institutions. Because want to mean conco create account a state institution account now a clone in a private form as signatories the bank transferring any money at any point in time know who are the signatories and the directors of this particular way, yet they were transferring money from that one account to the other account.
It's almost a syndicate. It's like they're also part of it.
So that's what I'm saying, is that this whole investigation should be a comprehensive one.
Yeah. Because
you can't just go to bank, say me remove $1 million. Now they go to your bank. It doesn't happen anywhere. So nema na omo ye ne ya de ultimate so obi ase bi na dwe mu no say onyansa na onimo say ade no so efofo no. And very often so obi a commit crime, the last thing you want to bring on board is your family. Yeah. Criminals will do everything to shield their family from their criminal enterprises. But this gentleman registered a company. He knows that particular company was acting as a Ponzi scheme. Yet his wife was a director. It was a so childish. So what be say about the same as I'm Nipo Margin to say no opportunity to be in government. And where he was working an intelligent organization, National Brew, your father says Signals Brew. Yeah. Their job is intelligence gathering and those kind of cyber security, cyber crime and so forth. And this is an organization you need intelligent, smart people to do. But Adam said politics has been chipping in that way, no? That is the guy I had no kokoto all siphoning millions of dollars from state account to personal account, and he was using the same thing, buying properties all over. And these transactions were going through banks. Even criminals now maybe because they knew that a no criminal and El Chapo and your friends Pablo Escobar and co. Their monies were not going through the bank. No. The only time you see their money going through the bank is after the money has been washed through a proper and legitimate business. So they were parking their monies in the bush. But wait, this is what he has done. So what the way a man for TSC Kromo defending and as a form. I say there are many crimes that were committed under Akufo-Addo. There are similar by design, they are similar by creation. And in the coming days, said the Attorney General can a lot of these things will come up. But me, I'm happy the evidence that has been gathered so far enough to initiate prosecution, said the Attorney General can, because we need to send the message loud and clear to people. Say, being in government, you know, any avenue to amass wealth to yourself. But number a privilege and opportunity that's been given to you. Say, bra, number some of mine. Now, all some of mine now, or mine be to ya, they will say, if I town on Sabeka, but not monies that are meant. See, I'm finding development, I'm finding way. Now, I go forward in Sabum. Nanya greed na adwomone na wo ultima citizen. How on earth na one person better $1 million wouldn't just sika ni usika. Na wako estate. Na wako tuyaka 27 buildings in a day.
27.
And there were other buildings he was paying extra.
Yeah.
And you see, when you look at this whole discussion, a man for say of $7 million. That is not true. Because a diner auto aye one place that sikana nkasa krabro $7 million. Because each of the house, you know, amounted to over about $279,000 per each. Now out of 27 buildings I saying. Actually say other projects in sikano nyama na to na bontin, there are extra cash. We need to find where those monies came from. A man for you. So this is how our minor bre yanam IMF bobosia and kura good biase school feeding ya the 70 pesos and a feeding kra at some point ya kasa ya no mode ba 1 cedi 50 pesos no. Now one person in a year were buying huge properties. Our you knows haya obia nimse this is what they were doing. And these people sorry baba almost at some point video be circulating on social media. This criminal was in a church telling people how or not taking advantage and opportunities by Nyankopon Yebinin as a forum. And we do this nasty stuff to cover the tracks in the criminal activities on the background. So me, I'm happy that we are here. But there is something we must also look at. And Opina may can say, you see, issue never say ya. You focus on Adubuahin, Wakofasika, or your MPP ni, or you say, what we are sika, what you say. There are no the day, you know. The systemic weakness now these people were able to exploit, you know. We don't look at it.
Yeah.
Because Nyama Constitution said there are a lot of structural weaknesses in our governance system that we need to look at. Because in any proper administrative setup, you can't be channeling these monies to personal accounts. I just say free, so I'm buying free, so no, these things, financial intelligence organizations, BNI or FBI or BNI, National Security, they should have identified this. But National Security, Sabi and some Hulunin as a phone and the party boys and as a boy, you must go to your fans saying, quote to no white as shop no monam crum, Sabin class, some corner monam no moody. I'm doing a year intelligent work crew nibi. No, Baba said what me identify some of these things. What are some American? So I think, sir, we need to strengthen these institutions and make sure, sir, some of these things happening at the grounds, you know, we should be able to identify them, not as a way. Because what's an money way, lucky I understand the tutorial Japadia Ukroman or to do about thing. You can find these assets and freeze them, maybe sell them and recoup your money. But what about those who are first can find out through back door to Panama account and then as a form elsewhere? How do you recover? You understand? So I think there's a Niyama way should serve as a lesson for us. President Mahama said or reset it. I think that resetting should include some of these measures. Even there will be transfer seeker above $100,000 from the bank account to where there should be a number of queries that you need to go through. What I say? What you cannot be transferred $10,000 pounds and now £20,000 but to accounts man. The next time no you have a call from any of the financial intelligence organization asking you how you got the money. There was this guy in America. What is that? It's a Ghana force and this camano. Not or their talker, not their bar. Issue by a beg, you know. He was in court. He was charged with money laundering and as a form because huge money were passing through his account or money away and where those monies were coming from. You understand? That is how we need to structure the system. Very often you see there are a lot of young people you know. Answer number by look at Eugene Ahen. Within a short period, look at how this guy was able to amass so much wealth to himself and several other individuals. So Akufo-Addo Amamo no bebu yana there. Chale, wa mebu omanyo. The guy came purposely to enrich people. Omo de any generational wealth. We say generational wealth. No Akufo ne wia. Now they are setting the entire family up, and that is the kind of plan they set in motion. So Akufo wia mana kanwa mo nse sikana we wia no can take care of about 4 generations. And that's exactly what they are doing. Adubuahin investment you are scale or fire or the year near money. It's not for him. It's for the generation to come. no china ne nana no nana edi agora baka che say o papa mobra not knowing say wiara ne papa nya akwanya ba aban mu no be wi o man sika. And I think that these are some of the things that we need to do.
FM 92.3
certain message about na wow any your friend saying ask any other field be of and Dave wo ye adwuma abo man no aya e ma wo feel some kwasa adwuma na wo ye what are some American e ma wo because just imagine a medical doctor or not ward baby a or ye surgery ni na se for ma onya needle prick na blood splashes all over his eyes. But some is on the 12,000 13,000 they go fie na obiti ha sika or bosume be so be sorting the girlfriend out okra no so change the medical doctor ti baby here. So no the day dying for that country no ubenya no hefa. I think we need to begin to rewrite the whole political narrative no na eno na betimi address intelligent mind into the political fold na anya sa na ekoyesi a trust me. A lot of idiots will be coming onto the platform. They will take advantage and they will be making money. And the country will never move. It's the reason why the last 72 or 68 years after independence, everyone here for a Sikafor still a Sikafor or Muko the white gap keep widening. So yeah, serious research here. I think that research must include some of these structural reformations that has to be done to ensure such a near man will not even exist at all for people to take advantage. And again, Omo press conference as well. That is why you see them afenyo marking and no. You see they are lost cause. Nobody should even pay attention. They are fortunate that they have a media that will give them that oxygen of publicity. For me, these are irrelevant guys so far as where we are is concerned. Nobody should even pay attention. We should focus on the larger vision of making sure Obi a wo mind sika bia amfa kwan bia papa so na fire no. Is the reason why Ghanaians voted for President Mahama when he said that he will fight corruption. And that point, Ghana for are ready to support him to weed those people out. And that is what we need to do at this time. So for me, I think we need to focus on those things, making sure on my Obi ordinary sabo man sika bia no, you don't go so. And also send a message loud and clear to those Obenya Akwenya under the current John Mahama administration said, once a day will come, you will be like your friends are do because you will not steal for somebody to come and sit on radio and defend you. Now we are no any idea. What are and such nonsense will not happen.
Of course. I don't have a force
because when will be we are the sika baby now at radios. What are some mechanics? We need to make sure that people work and work well and fix the problems. Nipa bebrenya some faso. Sika abranti tamko you know the number of schools on Kabeti about our hinter areas in as for farm for a pem for the form no more and creo ko mu tware so bridge kra na so na what ha asesa sika we na eto de no mu probina na kwabra ne asesa microphone see the say or press conference such nonsense. I'm not sure that we should entertain some of these things.
Ivan Maminda say thank you very much. Ebushan simply so we and was go so awuti I want to 92.3 FM Sunni the other citizen coffee we saw Alan Graft so a member of the NDC. Alan, so quick one on the Dubai issue and now a narrow issue, you know, and I wrap it up on the ECG and the missing containers, which I'm told 40 has been found somewhere, and Biswa Yakoton cables, no, Ediama Chinese company are more dealing in scraps. Yeah.
You see,
yeah.
We a cutting razor.
You know, your own cutting razors.
We are cutting razor. Now,
FM 92.3.
And it's saying, I want another down Kwakufado. I'm a moon.
Osono mambo na sisa we ya na osono papa na osono nanande.
Kind of for you to
you understand? Now, Okwabani etimi efa $2 million each year. In the name say yes sky trip. Meanwhile, infrastructure no crowd the preliminary settings in the grab no and Ukraine hono in South Africa each year. And the money padders in Nasa nipa we et wa bem. Na wunim say sika we ko. O sikita port. No aje hu manager. Buzumbia uchi aneka. We uchi aneka for about 6-7 years. I would na bem making
port to be anyhow.
Plot be anyhow.
And so yes, you work it up port
and containers and they see on oh dear say a bear saying and then motivate a branch to ubit say on the oil The first transaction, $1 million. The second transaction, $500,000. The other transaction, $294,000. Na sesika we efi abrantie we ho ba no. Na ye bisa ho say. Juma ben no ye. Na say that
FM 92.3.
Ye nim say every institution, at least if not for anything else, twice in an accounting year, there's auditing.
Yeah.
But the financial, there's auditing. And so, going so animal fire. At the auditing whatever resource, and I say, Sika or the mass and find ye Juma or that Ghana Signal Bureau, and a crime bench for the year Juma. I need to abandon autism. But the bodies on one cast structures on one cast one we create to our establishing a check system. No, ain't me and check it. And we saw loophole we. I need to a brandy we. 18 ko baby. I go watch na back 50 a bosso. No at all. No chiaka. We Ninkola Muni Hunu. Now other people, that is a more reason why. Me must make can say. Yeah, Papa, His Excellency John Dramani Mama. This is not even kind of. Or say Ghana for a to Obama.
Yeah.
If he say a choir aban we any fashion. Omwe dieni ayeden ache. Oma mayati na ahochemu ache. Ye di yaw, ye ni 18 su. Ye nim dio obeka yasem amaye. Na wo mujide sese wo ba, wo na obetimi aka yasem ade ayeden. Edamaye. Enti anamo ye etu no. Eya anamo ewu hia kese say more of this rot no, we need to unravel them.
So that is why he said there should be a fast track court
Yes.
to expedite this corruption cases.
We need not to delay on issues of this because there are more of them out there. Because so we said the amount involved here $9 million. Is that not it?
Yes.
Now the other $43 million no man so there. So far got to go to you understand?
Yeah.
And other sectors, money that has been given to them, na enye feria. Na enye okwabra ni timi nya akukudro. Etimi ekokujina simpi so no de obi ntimi bodunu. Wom required wa to Ghana cathedral no. Na wadi eniamo nsem sesei. Na obewie na bon a wutu ye no. Utimi enle concrete anase bibia anase structure bia ko se edu baby. No wie wetimi akokujina simpi so. You are a man of yourself because of things of this nature.
What him say, Okan Katrina Seminole Archive, me receiving report be say now, juma around that air cliff. A report to say now, Oshe a cathedral no, I'm not number 2 year now. It's pretty mosquitoes.
Yes,
it's pretty mosquitoes.
What do you say? And you have characters like and things of this nature. And we have character, and this thing has been with us for solid 7 years, another 6 years. And money has been pumped into this, and at the end of the day, nothing has been created. So why wouldn't you expect this? And at the end of the day, no, you have lawyers belonging to their fold. Said the okay,
92.3.
look, when national youth employment, Abu Kapili. How many NDC people do you see following? I want to ask you. When the likes of Victor Salome and other people, what were the comments? I have a You understand?
Yeah.
But this one, Omar glorified the TV. And so among themselves, they can hold press conference to justify what has happened. And you have among themselves, you have lawyers who will go to court to defend this cause. Because that is their modus operandi. The person in question who has gone to court, our defender is the same person who was made a minister of works and housing. And at the end of the day, what happened to Saglame? Today we are talking about ECG.
Okay. Wrap up on the ECG. I mean, my Ivan. So
yes,
inclusive chapter then for my
because the course no any be flow. The reason why I cheap in Saglame under our watch. People have gone to Saglame at some point in time, have shown documentaries and other things about how the police was famished and how things were dead. We saw it. Then overnight, they have forgotten, few, that there have been journalists who have gone there to do an assessment of the place.
Oh, yeah.
You understand? And pictures have been shown of how bed, air conditioners, and everything were in place, everything was set. They have forgotten. Under a twinkle of an eye. All these things were removed. They were sold in Ashamaye. Some of them were sold in Ashamaye. Yes. Me say, me emaninyo wama se won. Na ademunu ye dia ba o man we mu. Ye de ba be ya de e de ama o man no. Enya abro ani be yi a. E be yesen e na ademunu wato na scraps. Meanwhile, nipa na wo odi ejuma ne share nsa. Se onye clearance no. Enfama on that 2,170 or 197 containers, no. So nipa na ankasa no the credibility and that's na who on the ankasa and so bit me clear idea no. O pre-finance no. Enti o pre-finance no. Na o pre-finance se sika na wo de man onji sika no gogodi na nyema ni gu port wo no ana. Na be wi echi no. Na wa san fa ho na container 40 feet container ada entache na yira mo obi akwan obi ehu ana. Ana se efa port no obi eni wo no ana. You see, these are serious issues.
Yeah.
And where your issue be our own, and your issue, I was say, this is a national crisis. It turns out the state of corruption and the state of TV and how TV was carried out in this country.
Oh, fire. Because
if not for anything, how can the 40 feet and your baku and your minu? We are talking about 1,347.
Yeah.
And 1,347, the expectation was 2,140 something.
Yeah.
2,140, which what was cleared was not even up to 800. Now, who would have been sicker? And they are pre-financing. Sir, a friend is saying, Nipana or Baba clear, and then the amount. And it's even said that even in the process, the procurement, like there were breaches in it.
Yeah.
And all these things were things that were known to government. Now, now I made them a na me say Ivan embebe yi niam na mame na Ivan ni sika a ode ba ba yi niam na mame na me ama sa da me ho no ma fisika na bia ma Ivan so on va go yi niam na mame
ahye
na wie na niam na ka koka ho no na niam ni koka ho no ma ekoko wie chi na niam no so mi
the graft bring you we just have about less than 10 minutes to wrap up. And Ivan, Fakakrana, Afi, me really a lot of messages about Nafi, me matab gakrasuna, a trip for some bremo so that we can call it a day.
Yeah, citizen.
Yeah,
I think we are very funny people.
As a country.
Oh, very, very funny people. Because this container says, for me, container be anyirai.
To you, container behind why? Why do you think so? Say container.
Nemana ye kan ho asem no. Enya se obi de mako akoto asaba market na obi akoha ho machan kwakofa na ye hu ni bakro. We are talking about shipping 92.3. You know the processes that you need to go through before you pick a container from your friends airport. You know the process. So there is no way. And you see me who platform here MPP platforms. And one year a month for most container no woody dwane creating an impression say Gamahama buy in a month for now say these people don't even understand what is happening because this thing happened even before Gamahama took over.
Yeah.
What does everyone make say? So for them to be painting those pictures and as for as if say Gamahama buy in a month for your friend is near man freeway no. It's a way of seeking some cheap and as a false equivalence. So yes, that kind of on social media, no, and that is completely different from what happened in this particular instance. I'm told, sir, Abra during transition period, that minister, or energy minister, no, we are yeah. Early stages of the transitional period, that is when people started pulling these things from the port. In the name of national security, and you can go and check those things there. In the name of national security, in the name of national security, so as to whether those at the port at the time, recorded details went through those before those things were picked, these are some of the things that we need to look at. And what we say, Sanema ya can once mean at a port for almost more than 1 year. which means that your crown about somewhere 2023, 2024 whole. And some of the items no more cry, and I say ECG will need them in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
But Kwabrane is a Kwabrane to go na Ojin Sikab and son of a Kwako. Who will send by force meter be changing the giddy. There is a press about one thing say, Obiaba will feel so but changing meter, don't allow them because the process has been halted. Me also someone who that communicate.
Oh yeah, me
yes.
No
more changing more the other than them but there is a communication indicating say Obiaba will feel so but changing meter, don't allow them to change. That is the information out there. So clearly, say people were in a haste using the electricity company of Ghana to make money, and that's exactly what happened. For instance, we are talking about the GRA, we are talking about Gapoha, we are talking about electricity company of Ghana. What can name of Frabontiamba? At the end, the Beberman Niamana port attracted a debt of 1.2 billion. More dama cannot. This is state to state. ECG and Kofi Usu company, and a ECG and Yemi company. This is a state institution. Wouldn't say they've been running at a loss. And the Niaman backgrounds are Omunisika or more clear. There are ways at the state to state level, no. You bet me for to clear those things. Have your ent now, Emma date na spy, Emma a kame guso. But I'm say ECG will be a media, you will be a papa, no. These people are the same Akufuado buying. Left these things to sit at the port for more than 1 year. And my car guso. And the abandoned society, I know much as yet, and we go wouldn't say, and others will be a behu. But the records, everything is there. So, what I'm expecting is that, other way, or be a container be a let us follow the 4 steps. Because won't be Hong Kong for Adiam from Pierre Brian go through any process. Let us go through the process and identify who gave the order and where the items are. I'm told, sir, so far they've been able to identify some somewhere.
40 now.
40.
Yes.
So individuals na yeah. So it's just a matter of just amassing these individuals. You interrogate them and if possible prosecute them. When your issue I say you're trying back and forth a man for a young who contain social media. No. We know how it happened unless you are ignorant about this whole process. San semina ye can and see and yache and a man for akosisa. We don't even know when they started stealing some of these things from there because the thing has been at the port for so many years. Man for Januama e kaguso. So ECG got to a point. There is no way on sika 1.1 billion akwakoyi nema no. And on Jama nakaho and a man for so from. So nipa no mo yes and nipa mo ye Ghana for or mo kroma and Kofi. Then you also understand why state institutions like ECG they are in a debt. ECG the last time kind budget 32 almost billion Ghana cedis Canada almost. So then you know how the ECA came about. These are some of the things they do because and they are using the company to make money. Here and as for no be a producing power mass a cotton. Yes, commercial and technical losses are 42%. Now more than make campaign and your first 42%. Obia produce power, the amount power you know produce. What produce power na massage cotton was a technical and your friends saying we commercial losses are 42%. Now company how can you be viable? And these are things that
Ivan, let me thank you this afternoon. I'm totally 2.3 simply so every and I was so good so I would hear Ivan Che sent what the graft Ellen so and can we now let me read few of the messages now. Wrap it up young call. I said greetings to you and my one and only Kofi, fantastic delivery there by your panelist Ivan, my man. More of them to you for Mother Ghana from Reverend Josiah. Big chili, Reverend Yadase, Ivan, I say, Ochia was a fantastic delivery. My idea. Ago, do why we say good afternoon, Kofi citizen. The Chief Justice, she is not Christian. She is not working for Ghana, but working for NPP. She have to be sacked. Ago say Chief Justice no on no nyame on one kuzo ofia on kwasore. Ada nyame slowly nimu. Ntia pa mono onko. Esa so be adwuma.
Sunday mo preaching no so nyame.
Paul Menodzi, citizen Kofi, greetings to you and your panelists. Please, new king, new law. So we are not leaving any MPP appointees under President JDM government. JDM reset every government sectors, or especially judicial court, Supreme Court, blah 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 blah. Was say OTF Amasaman, Viana, was say, hey Kofi, Ivan Mo, oh yeah, dear. And I'll say, citizen, I'm enjoying the program this afternoon. Greetings to Ivan. Tell him God bless him so much. We're full of wisdom. And what do you about? Let me pick a few of your calls so that we can wrap up. 0303-402-8062 and 0303-4029-04. We emphasize some few calls so that we can wrap up here. Was simply so. Trima a TA so. What to say? Fire never I know shit. We opening. Otomika.
Yeah, champion citizen.
Champion Yahuza.
Medase. Ubet my family debut. Na champion for 80 studio na ose Yahuza the only related person in this message. I mean Shram na honorable poswan for doctor na Dauroma in the out of and do Ghana. Onye ni sika de aboa me so your politician now feel say na why we now we prepare me I was me phone your pay obosambo funti na ma to fair new job in south say NDC mo ni NDC MC girl yeah you to be SN yama na just a Richard we are very careful personal interest number NDC and man the MPP amagana eba say na citizen because you friend John Jinapo, yeah. On to me, Bob one thing, and the press conference, I'm a Ghana free now, and think the reason why contain an right. On to me, Bob one thing, because all the radio stations, citizens, to see America say, my radio 32. Me tell somewhere before the radio station working now. I think say end this fool and now go to container fee. It's one na Fendi so partnership because as someone here KKK yani every before na dey no when you people be we abun sa for preocupe and we just say when you ni pa wo sa no adwene wo to when you pa dey it is end before you feel say when your position mo be jet na Ivan no mo in the citizen no mo you asama no mo na embra abotin be kasa mi pa to ma mo oduma ye one will refuse to affirm a one for information, but what from a citizen trial won't fall.
I mean, and that's we more fire. Opening Otimenka to us, uncle.
Pachamuchiamo.
Yeah, Frost, I
prefer not song.
Yo,
Water region. I can't me what I say. I say, Uncle Yankasan, or Munia, Mudibu Mayo, and you or Mukoy, or Musitania Mabi, Edia, what you are upon a million or money. Or this up one when I say, my penny, the Becho Mudia, and you, and you on Bomadia, or bet you a Munia Tumba, but contain a Mudia as Edia to airport, betting at Tibacuni. I feel more quiet. I'm not angry. I feel I'm moving. I'm mostly a this form person. A right. A then I right. I buy a Busina and I contain a bay airport.
But in Nasi, a chan of tongue for you know, MP or Kujeto, a black or North and as well South or North tongue. I say, good afternoon. Opening your frost say, because of free.
The day of plus, I'm a free water.
Prosperity.
Good day. Mesro, but Nina Kajuma, but over by your program, Ukakano Kaya say, I had those Kakra, Ngofura Mwaba ye, Adumanu Muntini Netam Kasa, because the new steady sour, you know. I throw the Renina, the Toning in a Kajuma, one Bakoy, but Ukasaka Krano Toso.
But I say, anyway, venture, what do you have? Operi, with you, Kasayako.
Your citizen,
yes. Yo, Penny, I just saw Yanko.
What for next year? May I know the first time. Oh, when you're first one, Mrs. Samahan, we knew. Ancha. Okay, never saw a man at some control. My sister says I'm a pot for a casual, you are just way by it. My monsieur, someone will go out, one thing you found 1 year from my mind. Oh, yes, it's easy. Not sure, person. And so now, I am a yard there. maame chief justice woman copy ma ohwem nso onu no ba ya o ti that certificate our organization a passport no NDC input my age every more passport and we never go home say obi a obi na nebu a other one timbra ase obi a o take to go no remember na ya yem hu say o two forces ne lo ayeni o two fra wa asabor for na so problem obi so ntwa so
no akele show what you say eti mama yan fancy ye course ne doso na mo fan cheme Evan yanko
your citizens. So I think we need to your friends tighten things up. Come one thing men pass ever go scot free. I say nipa be we are not fan wadi. And there are enough evidence to justify say indeed and Akufo-Addo no chrono bonus I would disam no also. Baby people should bottle their emotions. Resetting Ghana and it means a Akron so no must answer for their crimes.
Yeah.
Because such characters cannot just come and steal money and then get away and they say, I told the idea and I'm for Boko to for the Omochi. No. I said, Mariah Juma. I say, they send a message loud and clear to people say, you don't just come into government to amass wealth. I'm a back to serve. And this Adubuahi case and several other cases. And you know, there are thousands of cases like this. Sky Train. Now more damn out your mind trainer from Winnie Busime trainer was so and Penina Wako school. Sometimes you know and Chirawadrin train their from near Nibio. Yes, he acquired your 5 years. Not president at Sias, near $2 million among Kofamara. Now more damn be decided. So I think that people need to account for their crimes. Simple as that.
But when I say Ivan Che innocent a researcher in minimum for it does say.
Yes, I mean and Bessoha. And I was still when you black and home audience and me number. Subscribe to channel like and I share my dinner for and sign carry. Macro, you will share in the next video.
I did come I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.